Okay, everyone. This clip is about how to write a manuscript, or for online students' case, um, you probably are more likely writing a proposal. Uh, so for face-to-face students who will be conducting a study and then write a manuscript, um, this tool will be a little bit different. So if you have conducted a study, your manuscript will be all in past tense uh, because you're summarizing the result. Now, for online students, you are writing just a proposal. Then what you will do is writing in the future tense. But basically, they're not so much different. So let's follow this document, and I'm going to show you a really simple example of mine. All right. So this is for kind of like a small project. Number one, your essay must be, or this is our manuscript, should be typed double spaced on standardized paper 8.5 by 11 with 1-inch margins on all sides. Now this is a very strict standard, so you need to exactly follow the standard. APA recommends using 12-point Times New Roman font. So just follow this. Number two is very important. Throughout the whole manuscript, you do not use these two words, I or you. You don't use these two words. Now you use we instead. All right. And if you feel the urge to write the word you, find some way to avoid this word. So if I see you or I, in your manuscript, the least I will deduct will be 5 points. More likely will be 10 points, and you don't want that. Okay. All right. Now the major paper section. Your essay should be at least include the following major section: title page, abstract, introduction, method, result, discussion, and references. Right. Now, for online students who are writing a proposal, instead of result, you're going to write, the title is going to be anticipated result. Right. But the rest will be the same. Okay, now let's talk about title page. I post this clip about the format, so you can follow that clip on how to write this running head whatever. But this is the example here. Okay, this is my example. When I was a PhD student, but I took the first year. The first year. This is the first year project only. This is not even the thesis. Alright. So there's a running head, and then this is the title, the name, and then the school. Okay. Alright. Now, running head is a shortened version of your paper's title, cannot exceed 15 characters, including space and punctuation. Location, top of every page, page number, top right of every page. Now, abstract. Abstract should be organized just like your experimental report, including introduction, methods, result, anticipated result, and a brief discussion. And it's a single paragraph, double spaced, should be between 50 and 100 words. No more than 100 words, please. Um, so this is the manuscript, and it should be another page. Okay. So abstract, the title is in the middle, and then this is the. Oh, actually, this is my thesis. All right. Anyway. But I kind of like just debriefed to show you. So this is not the whole thing. Okay. Now, so in this abstract, I just start with saying, this study explored how people, individualists and collectivist culture perceive and receive support. That's my title. And then this is the method. How many people participated. And then the hypothesis is that predicted Taiwanese student utilize social support compared to American students, whatever. And then the result, however, indicate it did not support the hypothesis. Kind of sucks, but anyway. And then finally, the last sentence just say pragmatic implications for cross-cultural mutual understandings are discussed. Okay, after the abstract, you go to the next page. Okay, there must be a page break. You cannot just follow it and say the introduction. It has to be another page. Now, another page. This is the introduction, and you don't necessarily need to give this a title. That's not a big deal though. I mean, with or without a title, that's okay. So that's the introduction. Okay, include at least two parts: literature review and study overview. So literature review is you discuss some previous studies relevant to your current study, and then consider what gap in the literature your own research fills. What hasn't what hasn't been examined? What does your work do that others have not? Right? And then the study review is this short overview should provide you a hypothesis. Briefly describe your method. Um, the study overview function as a transition to your method section. Okay, and it has to be at least 150 words. So take a look at this one. Actually, I started with a brief, introduction of some shocking news. November 1st, 1991, Gang Lu, a former Chinese graduate student at the University of Iowa, went back to the university, killed 5 people, and seriously wounded another before killing himself with a .38. And 16 years later, another news. And then I brought in, so it seems Asian students they have adjustment problems and are supported by research. All right. So that's the point. Um, that the idea has to be supported by research, and then this part is kind of like a transition to the next paragraph, right? And you'll notice pretty much every idea is supported by research, and this is site, I need to cite research to support. So this is a very important point. You cannot just go all the way down without citing anything. You need to give some citation, and to show people you have done your research, you have done your homework, right? And there are different ways of citing research. So you can cite it at the end, or you can say others people recognize the early social support or whatever, present the idea. Okay. And when you cite, please don't give the title of the research. Okay, all you have to do is just the last name and the year. That's all you need. All right. Sometimes there are a lot of studies about the same idea. Then you just just say for example, e.g., and then give the last name of those authors and then the year. Okay. So this is pretty much the introduction. And then finally, I need to bring in the study. So I say the purpose of this study, therefore, was to investigate. And remember, see, I use the past tense because I conducted a study already. So for the proposal, you will use the present tense. All right. So the purpose of this study, therefore, was to investigate how culture impacts how people perceive and seek social support, as well as. So I stated the purpose. After reviewing the research, I stated the purpose of my research. All right. So that's my introduction. The next section is method, and as you can see, it's just right next to the introduction. There's no page break. All right. The first thing in the method is participant. You need to introduce who participated in your research. Now, in my case, there were 438 respondents. What I did was an online survey. and I introduced including so many, excuse me, so many Taiwanese and so many American students, right? And also, usually, you will tell people how many men and women, including the percentage. And if you have collected those data, you probably want to report their race, as well. But that's about it. Uh, so that's the method. Participants' basic demographic information. Probably, if you collect the data, average age, the gender, maybe race, and how they were recruited. So for face-to-face students case, I guess you just say students were recruited from different psychology classes, and the student participated in this research in exchange of extra credit. That's pretty much the case, right? All right. Now the next will be the design of procedure. And in this case, in this section, you will include the information about what the IV independent variable, and how the independent variable is manipulated. Now, so you can see this section doesn't have to be long, unless you have long way manipulate the IV. But for face-to-face students, I don't think it has to be really long. In my case, it's just a questionnaire. So I just describe how the questionnaire is, distributed, how to recruit the student. Anyway, uh, so the next will be the result. And I guess if you, no matter face-to-face or online students, well, okay, let me talk about on face-to-face students first. So your result pretty much will be independent sample t-test. We talked about this already. If you are doing this a cell phone study, um, that's comparing two groups, and one of you probably conducting this pair sample t-test. But no matter what, just remember we talk about how to report the result for t-test. So you gotta remember that. So now for online students, you will say anticipated result. And if you are doing this cell phone study as well, then all you need to say is we will perform either independent sample t-test, probably is your case, or paired sample t-test. Um, if you have any question, then ask me, which test you should perform. To examine whether they are significantly different. And then you say we anticipate the group that do not use cell phones will um, do better, perform better on the test that we're giving to them. Something like that, words to that effect. And that's all you need to say. Okay. And then finally, discussion. Discussion can be really long, but in your case, it doesn't have to be quite long. Of course, if you can include all those sections, with good information, you're more likely to get a better grade. But um, discussion include those information. So first is the summary of the research. Very quick summary of what the research question is. Probably no more than a couple sentences. And then theoretical implications. For face-to-face students, you need to answer, do the results support a hypothesis? Now, if yes, yeah, you're happy. But if not, then what might be the reason? You need to speculate. Yeah, and yeah, you need to try to explain that the reason. Um, so practical implications. How can the finding be applied in the real world? How can the findings be used and by whom? Now, for online students, you probably just anticipate that if the results support a hypothesis, then how can it be applied, right? And then the limitation of studies. This mostly apply to face-to-face students because after you conduct a study, you get and analyze the data. Um, you're more likely to see some problems of this study. For online students, you're writing a proposal. Um, you probably will not talk too much about this limitation because you haven't done the research yet. So if you haven't done research, and you already talk about limitation, people will ask them, and then why don't you just change it, right? All right. Now, suggestions for future research. This is most likely for face-to-face students who have conducted research as well. Okay. Okay. And then finally, I say at least 100 words, but if you have more than that, you're more likely to get good grades. Of course, it has to, have rich information, containing those uh, uh, explaining those information anyway. And then finally, there's the references. Look at this example. After you finish with your discussion, there should have another page, the page break, and then it has to be references. And some people still give me like works cited, bibliography. Please don't do that. Okay, references. And this is the format of a reference. Okay. One thing very important is whatever cited in the article, what all the studies cited in the article must be in the references, and all the references here must be cited in the article. Okay. Now you have a small project. I mean, the minimum number of references is just 3, so I think you should be okay. But just be careful. All right. And of course, this has to be alphabetically arranged. Okay. I say the minimum number of the references is 3, but again, if you have 5, 6, or 7, you are much more likely to get good grades. 3 actually is very minimum, very little. 3 probably just don't do too much. All right. Finally, if you follow those formats, you are probably in a good shape. And then try to avoid this those mistakes and follow the example. The best way of writing a manuscript is to pick at least one study, carefully read it, and then explain how they done the study, and then why. Explain very well why your study is new and it's important. All right. Any question, please contact me.